Good afternoon. Hopefully my AirPods are giving good sound today because I tried them and they were being a little funky. So I'm going to go live here for a couple of minutes. And I want to talk about how to surrender to orgasmic pleasure. And on one of the reels that I posted, I saw quite a few comments about how do I experience this? And so I've been trying to break it down in different ways. Keep in mind, I can't break it down all the way here because it's social media. And everybody is an individual. So if you're looking for ways to experience that full-bodied orgasmic pleasure for yourself, I want to encourage you to click the link that you see in my bio and set up a chat with me and let's talk about it, because everybody's not the same. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Debbie Maisha, and I work with Black women to help them heal from sexual shame so they can experience full-body orgasms. And we don't understand how much our orgasms are actually connected to the way we live our lives. But I will save that for another time. So diving back into how to surrender to the experience of a full-body orgasm, because I saw a couple of comments that were saying, it can feel intense if you're not prepared, if you're not comfortable in your body. Full orgasmic pleasure can feel really intense and overwhelming and feel like you're going to be out of control and you're going to be digmatized, and those are just a few of the ideas, right, that come to mind. So when it comes to surrendering to the fullness of your orgasmic pleasure, I keep talking about safety being important, but it's really about you creating safety in your body first. I know there's big talk in the internet streets about men creating safety, and I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely do. But before we can even get to those men, we as women have to create a sense of safety in our own bodies. And when that happens, no matter who we're with, healthy individuals, giving individuals, we're not talking about toxic behavior, we're not talking about abusive behavior. I'm never talking about those folks usually, okay? No matter who you're with, you will be able to experience a high level of full body orgasmic pleasure because you'll be able to surrender to it. But in order to surrender to it, you have to trust your body. You have to trust yourself. You have to know that it is okay for you to receive pleasure. Now, let me just dive into that for a quick minute, because that's really part of the big part of the problem. Is that as Black women, pleasure was not prioritized for us. Work was prioritized. Duty is prioritized. Being a helper, help me, that's prioritized. Getting an education is prioritized. Independence is prioritized. And all of these things are wonderful. I'm not debating whether one should or shouldn't go for all of these things. But what is not prioritized is your own pleasure and your own pleasure with your body. That's why so many of you in your 30s and 40s and 50s are now running to retreats, goddess circles, to allow your body to relax, relate, release, if you know, so that you can start to feel something because you've been running around numb. So pleasure was not a thing that we were taught as girls was part of our lives. So we first need to understand that we deserve pleasure. And when I say we deserve pleasure, I've watched the internet trends shift. It started out with self-care. Making sure you mani-pedis were done and you had the bubble baths with the candles. Beautiful. I love that. And then I saw it start to expand. Now when we're delving into meditation, because some of y'all were taught that was evil. And then some of you started to delve into yoga. Some of y'all were taught that was evil too. And then you started to expand a little more. Now you're going to Bali, you're going to Costa Rica. Y'all are expanding the pleasure, and I love it. And yet, when it comes to your body, your pussy, your labia, your clitoris, we're still clutching pearls. It's like pleasure can exist in every other part of your life, but the beautiful garden that sits between your legs. So the first part of being able to surrender to this type of orgasmic pleasure that you were created for, let me get to that in a minute, that you were created for, is to understand that you deserve all of the pleasure, all of it from head to toe and everything in between. So get your waist beads, do your meditation, go to yoga, go to Bali, eat your fruit, drink your water, mind your business, get your tea, get your journals, get all the things y'all been doing, and start to get a mirror and put it between your legs. Start having conversations with your pussy. Just start talking to her. Start talking to her. You talk to yourself. Start talking to her. Take your hands. Toys are wonderful. I'm going to talk about that another day. Take your hands and just start examining your own area. Just feel your actual skin. Start creating and cultivating a relationship with your body. So that's the first piece to surrendering to pleasure, is you acknowledging that you deserve pleasure in all the ways, not just the ways that seem acceptable. 2, you are meant for pleasure. Your body was designed for pleasure. I'm going to say it. It is the hill that I will stay on until breath leaves this body. You have a clitoris. The clitoris has over 8,000 nerve endings in it. The clitoris is the only body part on a being on this planet whose only function is pleasure. Your vagina has several functions. The vulva area, the vulva complex has several functions. The phallus of a man has several functions. Your clitoris does one thing. And do you honestly think that which created everything, whatever you are calling it, would give that to you as a gift and then say, that's sinful? And then say, no, you should not indulge in that? That's crazy. That's like saying, oh, well, apples were created, but not to eat. They're just to look at. Just to look at, right? Like, no. So the second part of this is understanding that pleasure is your birthright as a woman. You do not need permission. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need your pastors, your husbands, your parents, your caregivers, your community, your religion. You don't need permission to engage in pleasure in your own body. It's yours. And you need to start seeing your whole vulva complex as no different than your elbow or your shoulder. Like, you're over here touching your shoulders, okay, but putting your hand between your legs is, ooh, it's still your body. So I covered understanding that you deserve pleasure. Number 2 is understanding that pleasure is your birthright. And this leads to the culmination, which is creating the safety. You cannot create safety in your own body if you're not willing to touch your own body. It's not going to happen. You cannot create safety in your own body, which allows you to surrender, if the only time you'll allow your body to be touched is by someone else. First of all, you don't even really know your own body. It's like driving. It's like you purchasing a car, but you never drive it. Somebody else knows all about your car. I don't know. But it's your car. You're responsible for it. Insurance is in your name. Title is in your name. Car notes in your name. But you're like, nah, They know the car. Why? Why would you do that? You're paying for something you're not using, right? So in order for you to create safety to allow surrender, because surrender requires safety. Surrender requires trust. There's a lot of yap on the internet about women submitting, whatever, to men. Nah. That requires trust, if that's where you're going, right? It requires trust. Same thing for your own body. You will not allow your body to feel the orgasm that's going to expand in you, that's going to create convulsions in a way that you may have never experienced, if you don't trust your body, because you're going to be like, what the fuck is this? What the hell is happening to me right now? No, I gotta stop this. He's gonna think I'm crazy. I'm gonna start making strange sounds. My face is gonna look weird. And he's gonna be like, yo, what the fuck is happening? I can't. I gotta hold it. I gotta. No, ma'am. So in order to surrender to the full body orgasms that you deserve, this just reminds me of something else I'm gonna say in a second. You need to cultivate trust within yourself and safety within yourself. And the way to do that is by touching your body, by allowing yourself to feel pleasure within your own body with yourself. And let me say this, because I remember when squirting was like a thing. Squirting was a thing. I'm going to do an email about my first experience squirting. If you're not on my email list, go ahead and after this live, don't leave yet, but go ahead and click the link in my bio and get on my email list, because I'll probably send that out on Friday. I'm going to talk about my first experience squirting. There was a whole lot of hoopla around squirting and being able to squirt. Some women, their bodies are just made that way. They're just like some women's nipples just kind of stick out. Some women's nipples retract. Some women's labia longer or shorter than the other. Some women just squirt. It's what they do. It wasn't a magical gift. That's just how their body was made. Some women wanted to learn how to allow that ejaculate, because that's what squirting is. It is not urine. Let me say that one more time for those of you sitting in the front, the middle, and the back. Squirting is not urine. It is female ejaculate and comes from very specific places within the whole vulva complex. In order to allow yourself to experience that type of intense orgasm, because it is intense, you got to surrender to the experience. In order to surrender to the experience, you have to trust what's happening. You have to trust your body. You need to trust your partner. So it all ties in. So if you're still on that bandwagon, which I think is ridiculous and foolish, you don't have to squirt to show yourself that you're some amazing woman. I'm just letting y'all know right now. Just like you don't have to have a vaginal orgasm to prove you're some amazing woman. But if you're interested in that kind of thing, again, it goes back to being able to trust your body and create safety in your body to feel that level of pleasure. Okay? So you want to know how to surrender to full body orgasm? You need to create safety within your own self. You need to understand that pleasure is your birthright. You need to begin to just explore your own body. Really just take a mirror out. And let me speak to trauma for a moment. I am not a licensed therapist. A lot of that conversation happening. I'm not a licensed therapist. I am certified in several different modalities though, including being trauma informed. And I have experienced assault and molestation and some other things. Right? So I have lived experience through some of this. When it comes to trauma, it may be a little bit more difficult to trust your body, to honor your body, to touch yourself. And I want to acknowledge that, because I don't think that's talked about enough, that it takes a different level now in order for you to come to this place of trust. The first thing I would recommend is finding a really great therapist. That's really important. Do find a really great licensed therapist who can help you walk through that trauma if you're still in active trauma. But the second part is also working with your body. Therapy works with your mind and the thoughts that happen, but working with a certified somatic coach like myself helps you work through your body so that you learn how to create that safety in your body. And that duo working together for you, chef's kiss, okay? As they say, what is, okay, that's what that is for you when you have that combination. when you're dealing with trauma, you may not be comfortable just putting all the fingers there on the offset, right? And so there are other exercises you can do that will still allow you to create trust in your body. You're not out there with no options. There are exercises that I give to my clients to help them just start to feel comfortable with, I'm looking at my thighs, start to feel comfortable with different parts of their body until we get there. Or trauma may have you feeling hypersexualized, where you feel like this is all you're good for. This is all you can do. And we need to approach your feeling safe from a different place. Because just because you think you want sex all the time because you've been assaulted, which it can do that, or molested as a young child, it can do that, like, I'm just here for the sex. Yeah. That requires a different approach as well. With those clients, I have them slow down because you're racing through the sex. You're racing through the orgasm. You got the toy out. You're getting the orgasm out real quick. You're still not feeling. You're gliding over the surface. And so for those clients, we slow it down so that you start to feel your own body. And this is why I say, if what you're really seeking is to feel the surrender, to feel the surrender in your body, to feel the pleasure that your body is here, to know that you deserve it, to be with a partner and allow yourself to surrender to the beauty of making love and fucking and kissing and not have your mind buzzing all the time, that's individual. I'm giving generals here, but if you want to set up a call with me, then we can talk about you as an individual and what's happening with you as an individual. Because what works for one doesn't work for the other. You're your own, your body's its own story. Okay? So I hope this helps today. I'm going to still keep breaking down this idea of surrendering to your orgasmic pleasure, of really being able to feel the orgasmic pleasure in your body. There are so many of you out there who I see your comments. I'm reading your DMs. I want you to know I read every single comment. I read every DM. And I want you to know that if your body's feeling closed off, if you're feeling blocked, if you're feeling like you cannot feel anything, especially the perimenopausal woman, I want you to know that it is extremely possible. It's very possible for you to open up like a flower and feel all of the pleasure that your body has to offer, because it is your birthright. It is how you were designed. You were designed for pleasure, to receive, not to give and give. You were designed to receive pleasure. Otherwise your clitoris would tingle giving all the time. Well, it can, but that's all another story. Anyway, that's the live for today. Again, click the link in my bio for more information. And remember always, the revolution will not be televised because it sits between your thighs. Welcome to the Orgasmic Revolution. I'll see you next time. Bye.